Hello everyone and welcome back to the Educational Currency Podcast. I'm Chris Kaladakis from Maximum Education.
I'm Robert Namoski from Ultimate Defense Academy and also the Coaching College. So welcome back again, and we've got a nice new topic for you today, YouTube. And we actually haven't got a guest on, but I've got better than a guest. I've got the one and only Mr. Chris Kaladakis.
Here we are, guys. Thank you very much, Rob. And look, in today's episode, I really want to share kind of how YouTube has been a part of my educational journey, and really led to some opportunities for me, Rob. And it's been quite the journey, and I think it's an amazing tool. It's something that I know students are very intrigued with, but educators are very intrigued with too, and they've seen a lot of success out there.
I think there's a bit more involved with you on YouTube, Chris,
than
just a tool. Heard a rumor out there, you've done quite well in it.
Oh, look, I've done all right. It's been good to me.
It's been good to you. So in your case, what inspired you for YouTube?
Look, it was a very interesting journey in how you start out. It's actually, it's kind of a very big pinpoint in my career because it all kind of started, in a staff development day. And we had someone from head office come out, and he's a great bloke, Chris Morris. And he was always a mentor in the area of ICT. Anyway, as per any type of PD, my first actual initial reaction going into this PD was a bit like, what are they going to make us do today? And then along with his peers, they said, we're going to show you this software, Screencast-O-Matic. Yeah. And it was obviously to record lessons from our monitors on our screens. And my initial feeling at first was like, are you serious? They're just going to get us to record everything. But I was completely wrong. It was actually a really good skill. And in doing that, I dabbled with it, and I recorded just me mucking around with some spreadsheets and, trying to make like a little 5-minute lesson, which was the purpose of the day, just have a bit of a dabble. And it really connected with me, how the software works, and got things banging in my head kind of, this could be really good for my students. So it actually changed my perspective of what these staff development days can be. Sometimes you're going to learn something really useful. And so it was a big eye-opener for me. So that's not even at YouTube yet. That's just going to the staff development day.
But like you said, you've had relatively good success with it. But how does one have success with it? Do you focus on something? Is there something that, like for other people on our podcast that are interested in starting YouTube channels, coming from your expertise, what was your niche and focus? How did you come up with it? First of all, what is your niche and focus, and how did you come up with it?
Well, look, my niche and focus is in the area of computing education, specifically targeted at stage 6 computing in high schools. The subjects of IPT mainly, information processing and technology, information and digital technology vet, and then a bit of software design and development. At this stage, these syllabuses have changed, but we'll get to that a bit later. So that was my initial niche. That's what I started making my lessons for. The thing that kind of got me to upload these videos onto YouTube is one time I was stuck on something. It was understanding error detection as a part of one of these courses. So I went onto YouTube and bang, up comes an Eddie Wu episode. Him at the front of his class, writing it on the board, how to understand this process. And it was greatly helpful to me. And so then I built my own kind of resource for that. And go, you know what, I could probably pay this forward. I go, I'm going to make a PowerPoint and on how to do this task. And then I uploaded it onto YouTube. And that's kind of what got me started there and developing my niche.
But in this case, talking to a person who knows nothing and zero about social media.
Okay, so I've got to reel it back.
Reel it back.
I've got to reel it back.
Reel it back for me and for others as well. What was the first biggest hurdle you had to get through? What was the first biggest challenge that, top of your head,
YouTube?
For YouTube, for you.
Really, in relation to hurdles, there hasn't really been one. It's hard to explain because I started it after doing my master's at university. And I remember doing my master's at university, I'd have a headset and I'm already video conferencing, and I was already listening to kind of presentations during the actual lectures, and obviously it was being done live. And so I already had kind of this mentality of, okay, I can sit down with a headset and I can follow a PowerPoint. And my initial goal was really just to get content out there, at first for my students, and then also some PD for teachers too on technology. So I never really had big aspirations with YouTube, not at all. An actual pivotal moment was, as I said, my target, and still to this day, it's still the same target, was stage 6 educational computing subjects. suddenly my channel started to boom in the area of diagrams in computing, things known as data flow diagrams, context diagrams, and structure charts. I actually looked at my data and then it kind of clicked. Those things aren't just taught in Australia. And then I realized my audience wasn't mainly Australian. It was actually predominantly Indian. And that's who was watching my videos. And so that kind of then got me on the track. Okay, they want to learn about computer science type diagrams and things like that. So I didn't even realize that my audience was expanding at that point.
Global audience.
Yeah, global. It was never on my radar. And then that's when the conversation started coming up. All right, this is a bit bigger than me teaching to a classroom now. It's actually, there's an audience out there for me, which helped me find my niche.
Man, that could be, I reckon for Chris, that could be his new book. YouTube for idiots, like myself. Remember once, hey, I learned Excel for idiots. Remember? Yeah, they had those, remember those books? They'd have them, Excel for idiots.
Yeah, the yellow and black ones, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. So we're waiting for Chris, YouTube for idiots.
Oh yeah, well, seriously.
I'd actually read it, why not? So in your book, YouTube for idiots,
yes,
what would be the process of creating your first video?
Look,
if you had to put it in your book, YouTube for idiots.
So if you're going to get out there, you go, starting a YouTube channel, things that you probably need to get started. Obviously, you need a computer. Okay, you need a computer. Okay, now you've got a decision to make. If you're going to follow my path, like obviously, I haven't really been showing my face on YouTube until now with the Educational Currency podcast. But back then, it was just me. I started out with screen recordings. Okay, you can use screen recording software, but there's software built into a lot of the operating systems now that can screen record too. And then that can cover the visuals if you're doing screen recording. And then you've got to think about your audio area too. And you want audio quality because that's how you're going to connect with your audience. So as I said, when back at uni, I already had a headset. So you need a headset with a microphone, okay, to record your audio. And then obviously if you're screen capturing, a high quality computer because you need a good frame rate and you want it to be smooth in what you're doing on screen. So that's if you're going to follow the path that I took initially. But then right now we're doing something slightly different and it's actually us in front of a camera and we're using microphones for our voices. So if you are going to then be a YouTuber that records themselves doing things, you need a high quality camera, okay, good lenses, and obviously good microphone to catch that audio because you need that high quality media to make good videos. And then obviously you need to set up a YouTube account.
Correct. And you need a Kate.
You need a Kate. A Kate helps.
Very important.
Kate helps with everything, okay?
Absolutely. Get yourself a Kate. Anything's possible.
Are you taking clients, Kate?
Maybe.
We'll see how we go.
We'll post it in our credits. How to contact Kate.
Yes. Okay, and it is helpful because obviously we're in front of the camera. To have someone behind the camera framing, reassuring us, it's a big difference too. And actually that's something I learned from this journey too. Like it's one thing to start a YouTube channel on your own, but then also to start it with peers and friends is great for sharing ideas, guiding each other, prompting each other and supporting each other. Like there's many different ways you can approach starting a channel. Really, as you've already alluded to, finding your niche, that's where finding your success will be. What is it that makes your channel different to other people's out there?
So what was your niche?
So my niche, computing technology. It took off without me even knowing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. But you've exposed yourself to the World Wide Web.
Yes.
So then you're really putting yourself out there.
Yep.
Now, there's positives and negatives in terms of the criticisms.
Yeah.
So how did you handle them? What did you do? First of all, was there any negative criticisms or in what you did?
Look, I wouldn't say there was any negative criticisms. There was constructive criticism. There are times when I realize, and I might still do this in the podcast without knowing, I say okay a lot when explaining something. And I remember someone wrote an actual comment saying, okay, yeah, okay. And it pretty much I was sounding like that in that particular video. And so then I was able to fix that video. There's also been videos where I put things out and I was incorrect. I was actually wrong in what I actually put out there and someone was more of an expert out there and they were able to tell me. And I really appreciate that because then I took that video down, uploaded a new one, and it's even better because I got that feedback. So those constructive criticisms are really good. There are also times when, there has been trolling or a bot putting comments in. So there are technical things that come with any social media platform that you got to be ready for too. But usually on the YouTube end, they kind of managed that. They saw the message as spam and they removed it too. So you do have to be ready for those types of things too when you do put yourself onto a social media platform.
So, but in your case, obviously you've had really good success with this, and it's been from an education perspective. So, how useful is it in teaching?
Look,
what would your opinion be?
I think it's fantastic. Like I said, when I was in need, I had Eddie Wu there to help me really quick at the tip of my fingers. If I was to rate the social medias, I put YouTube number one. Like, I think it's great for learning, and whereas other social medias can offer educational content, it's sometimes the platform pushing it more and you're getting it in a feed. But with YouTube, you search and you really find what you want to be looking for. And like, I've been lucky with it too, like, because I've received a lot of validation for it. Like I said, it was my classes first, and, you know, I got the student feedback. But then when I started going to like network meetings, and then I met up with people at HSC Marketing who taught outside of Sydney, like, they made sure they came up to me straight away and said, you know, you don't understand how helpful these videos have been to my classes. And like, it was very reassuring.
And
and
that positive reinforcement motivates you.
it does, you know, it's that you're doing something right, you know, it's good to feel.
But again, back to your YouTube book.
Yeah.
You've got a niche market.
Yes.
So you'd kind of be repeating yourself. How do you stay motivated and consistent with the creation of the content? Because at a certain point, does it repeat? Is it okay? So there's a few things there. How do you stay motivated with the current content? And no, that's actually really good, Rob, because my source for what I made my videos on was the syllabuses for those 3 subjects. I'd go through the syllabus dot points, and I would target things that I thought were difficult for students to understand, because in a lot of the computing subjects, there actually isn't many online platforms out there. And so it gave me a bit of an idea that, okay, the textbook can be very good at explaining things, but textbooks, and we had an older textbook back then, they can be black and white and predominantly text. So how could I make this a bit more vibrant? I could explain it with my voice and talk through it with students, and then use visualizations to really help them understand what's going on. So I would target those points from the syllabus. But then what you're saying is, okay, there's only so much in a syllabus. Yeah, that's right. After a certain point, how are you creating more content?
Well,
what do you do?
Well, you may say I'm lucky or unlucky, but all 3 of those syllabuses have changed in the last 2 years. So that's given me a lot of work to do. So I've now got the updated IDT syllabus. Yeah. We've got enterprise computing out there, and that's where all my energy is right now with my channel, trying to get things out for that actual new syllabus. And it's very new. It's new to me what's going on there. And ironically, one of the topics in it is about interactive media and social media and all the different media types out there. And then the 3rd course of software engineering. So a lot of new stuff has flown in. But then when I get to that, I've thought about what new directions I might go in. Obviously, we're sitting here right now, you know, in an educational podcast. You know, that's a fantastic way to speak more widely about education and our mission of inspiring people to come into education. But then on my own channel side, probably the next area I'm potentially thinking about going to maybe philosophy, and because I want to educate myself more in that area, and, you know, different views of what
we can bring a philosophy expert in as well.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we'll see what we can figure out here.
I've got some good friends.
Yeah,
that would be great on the podcast.
Yeah,
but in your case. You're creating this content, and I'm assuming you're writing a book as well, HSC.
And look, that's an opportunity that probably came from my YouTube channel too. Like, people feel like they know you because they hear your voice out there. They know, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I hope I sound like I know what I'm talking about, you know? So I think there's that familiarity. So often when people want to collaborate, they will probably get in touch with me and all that. So that's probably linked to that too, as well as other networks I'm with as well. And that obviously is for the enterprise computing textbook.
Yeah, so back to someone starting a YouTube channel.
Yep.
Okay, they're motivated, they're going in. Okay, was there any pivotal moment for you that you went, okay, I'm really into this?
Yeah.
Or was it seeing the amount of hits that you've had, or was it seeing the students' reaction? What could pinpoint one pivotal moment for us?
I'm going to give you 2, Rob. 2. I'm going to give you 2. Rob asked for 1, I'll give him 2. There were 2. Like I said, when that data came through and I saw how many people were watching it globally, I realized then that it was beyond the classroom. So at that point, I realized, okay, I actually contacted the head office of where I work because, I was going to decide to monetize my channel. And I got their blessing because they said if I ever left my workplace, everything on my channel will be wiped anyway. So they actually encouraged me to start putting my videos on another channel. And so that's where it became my own area. So that's when I kind of had ownership over what I started bringing out. It was now no longer a part of what I was doing for school. It was now, this is Chris Kalodikis's. So that was one step. The other pivotal moment was when COVID hit. When COVID hit, obviously education became tough. We were teaching remotely. And then obviously that was another influx for my channel. Students found it very hard to learn. But at that stage too, I didn't have enough content out there. I wasn't covering everything. So I had to increase my output during that time too and really target those key concepts that, because obviously I was doing, as a part of my school, Zoom classes with my class. But then I knew there were a lot of other students throughout the state too who were in similar situations and might not have had that same luxury. And so it's kind of then you find your purpose. And then, post 2021, like my channel has a lot of content now. And so it would be those two occasions that would have been very pivotal.
COVID accelerated that. You're at home as well. You have to prepare things remotely for your class, and then obviously it goes on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So in that case, what would be the most rewarding part of it, being a YouTuber?
I love networking. I would say that is the biggest positive to it. It is nice to meet people, and like obviously everyone loves being validated for good things they do, and I have an ego and a big head, Otherwise I wouldn't be here right now. But look, I can say it from that side too. But it is good to hear that you're really helping teachers and students. But because of what you're doing too, you're meeting other passionate educators. Other people who are interested, and they value what they're doing because they're a passionate educator themselves. And in more cases, they're also doing amazing things too, and it starts those discussions. It gets your mind ticking, what amazing things are you doing? Oh, wow, I can apply that to my own teaching. And, you do the same for them. And you share through networking, which is what we're trying to do here, isn't it?
Exactly. Or we're more than networking, we're educating ourselves.
Yeah, we are, constantly.
Which is good. So back to your YouTube for Idiots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What advice would you give someone?
Look.
In his book.
In my book.
In your book.
Look, you need a degree of confidence. You're going to make mistakes constantly. If you're going to put out content, you've got to make sure you have a workflow that suits a consistent output of content. For myself, I make sure that my videos are easy to record. If you've ever listened to my videos, I slip up in what I say. I make sure I don't do much editing because I think the more important factor is I'm getting that content out there. I also believe too, with AI right now, people are craving a human, someone they can relate to that does make mistakes, does sound like they're speaking genuinely, and probably AI will catch up with that very soon. But that they can tell the person that is talking is real, and it sounds like their teacher in the class. I'm not speaking perfectly all the time. So be real would be probably my next piece of advice.
Yeah, because you still need that human interaction or the feeling of a human interaction to learn.
Yeah.
As teachers, we know that's very important, and that's how you build that teacher-student relationship.
Yeah.
What are your future goals for the channel?
Look, my future goals for the channel, as said, I've got to finish off these new syllabuses. So I'm going to continue to be working on enterprise computing probably for the next 2 years, splicing in some of the software engineering new syllabus. I think information and digital technology is in a good place. Energy is going to be in this area, okay, with our current podcast and trying to get this out. It's a whole great new experience. As I said, I'm working with a team and I'm loving it, Obviously, we bounce off each other in front of the camera. Yeah. But then as I said, Kate's there behind the camera, reassuring us, doing a fantastic job, Kate. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And me and Chris have a saying. What do we say?
Yes, Kate. Okay. So that is a fantastic part of the experience too as well. And look, I will say as well, with YouTube too, as a tool for education, it is excellent because by putting it on YouTube, the user or, who is the student for my target audience, they control what they're watching. And because in my case, it's PowerPoint slides that have text on them. So it's teaching them through reading. I'm speaking, so it's teaching them through audio. And then I'm showing diagrams, so it's showing them information visually. Like that's 3 different learning styles that can be covered in a YouTube video. So if you are a teacher out there who is looking to expand and you can see there is an opportunity to expand, I really encourage it because our students do benefit. We do often rely on third parties, and there are some great third parties out there. Obviously, there's Atomi out there. Here, Maximum Education's pretty good too, okay? But they're out there and they're obviously putting out content, but you as an educator, you are the specialist in your area and you should be proud of that. So if you think it's an opportunity, go for it. I want to encourage people to go for it and get out there and take these opportunities in the digital age because the educational landscape is changing, but we are trying to bring power back to the educators. So if you're a passionate educator, go for it and get it out there. And look, like I said, my thing is YouTube. But I'm sure there's people out there who are great with Instagram, who are great with TikTok, who are great on Facebook, and there's probably other social medias emerging too, where to expand. I think we've got to show continually how great we are as educators and, do our part to show the world how much a great
absolutely.
is.
That's where the young people are. That's what they're interested in. Well, we have to hit that platform as well.
Well, it is. It shows, and it's a part of modern education. And that's obviously something I want to mention. It connects with students. Like students are impressed when they see you're striving to be a modern educator and you're interacting with platforms that they know. And I guess then that brings me actually to a point that I haven't mentioned. Cross things off with your management at work too. So if you are a teacher who works in a system or school, let your boss know that you're going to do this. We let our boss know when we were starting this straight away before we started creating any content. Let them know what you do, know what the rules are for putting out content. It might be things like you can't say your school's name, you can't say your role at that school. Like make sure you do that. Get their blessing and ensure that the content you put out will be under your ownership, okay, and not under your school's ownership. So make sure you sign off all the right boxes too if you do want to see that as a business, because it does become a conflict of interest, okay? Make sure you're up to date with your policies and procedures in work and that you're getting things checked off with your principal.
Yeah, you've answered my question, the pitfalls.
Yeah,
what to be careful of.
Yeah,
you answered it straight off.
It's not a pitfall because, you got to do the right things by your school because, you've got your full-time job, You've got to make sure you look after it. And I think, in our case too, our employers know that we're passionate educators, so they're happy with us putting it out there and that we will follow the rules that we were told.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a professional, you want to act as a professional even on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said, our previous episode ages ago we filmed that you can subscribe to now.
Yeah.
We just released it.
Yeah.
As the date of this recording, we just actually released our channel. So please subscribe if you do like what you hear and help us along our journey as well. And we had one on bad influences.
Yeah.
So as a teacher, we have to be even more careful that we are careful with what we put out there and it is the correct information. And if it isn't, like you said, you take ownership of it and change it, especially when there's other people with more knowledge than you and they tell you, fantastic.
That's it. How great to be able to get that feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. So in your case, how long are you into this book now?
The first, we're talking about our book for dummies.
No, which book? That'll come later when we review it.
Yeah.
No, your
the textbook?
HSC textbook.
So the Year 11 book has been finalised and obviously I've worked that in a collaboration with 4 other teachers. So that should be coming out hopefully at the end of this year. And then I'm currently working on the Year 12 courses textbook.
And tell us a little bit about Maximum Education.
Yeah,
where can we find you?
Yeah.
Explain.
Well, look, Maximum Education, www.maximumeducation.com.au. It does have online platforms there. Currently for the IPT course that is ending and for Information Digital Technology, the updated syllabus. And look, that is an extension of what I've done on YouTube. Obviously, I made my videos and then I've got this library of videos now. Well, what other capacity can I use those videos? And that's actually a good question because I've got media, I've got content. I can use it in different ways now. I could potentially, and you could do it too if you did this, sell it to a third party and they can use it on their platform. And I could get rewarded every year if I get some sort of an arrangement like that. So it's actually good just to be creating content because yes, it initially was for YouTube, but now I'm using it in my own platform. So it's another benefit that I obviously didn't foresee at first. That has led to an expansion of my micro business, as I like to call it.
No, this is important. It's very important that as professionals, you do get acknowledged for all that hard work that you're doing.
Yeah.
Any last piece of advice you have for anyone that wishes to kick off a YouTube channel
Yeah.
or has one?
Look, if you're passionate about something, you're genuine about that passion. And look, from my own story, I wasn't ever looking to make it big. It's more just the mission of what I wanted to do was what drove me. If you've got that in you, go for it. All right, you can play it safe like I did with my YouTube channel. Didn't show my face at all. I did show my name, but didn't show my face at all. You don't have to be in front of a camera. Get your message across. There's many great tools for making content that you could use. I said I use a lot of different types of software, predominantly PowerPoint is what I obviously had happening on screen with animations, but there are many other tools out there that can draw images for you on screen while you speak and do a lot of amazing things. So find the way that suits you. Obviously, there's a lot of planning happening before that. If you can work with a team, I think it's more fun because the team drive each other. Whereas if you do it on your own, you've got to be intrinsically motivated to continue pushing yourself to find content. Like there's a whole variety of ways I can do it. But as I said, at the core, be genuine, be yourself, find your niche and put it out there. You're going to make mistakes. And if you've seen our first few podcasts, there's mistakes, wardrobe mistakes, speaking mistakes, heaps of mistakes. Okay. But it's all a part of the learning and people will appreciate that as long as you are genuine.
We are genuine.
Yeah.
You can see, and hopefully we've improved by now. This is
Hopefully
our 14th episode.
Yeah.
And we just launched our first episode live last week. So please, if you do like what you hear, subscribe and we shall see you next week.
See you next week. Like, share, subscribe. See you later, everyone.
See you later, everyone.
I'm Chris Kaladakis from Magic in Education.
I'm Robin Namoski from the Coaching College and Ultimate Jiu-Jitsu. And what do we say during our podcast?
Yes,
Kate.
See you later.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.